You have a coach who played point. How much does that help you? What all has he taught you? Just what's that kind of, like, that experience?
Just kind of being a coach on the floor, kind of like coaching, knowing what he wants without him having to tell us a play every time or tell us what he wants, what his scheme is. So just kind of understanding his thought and his reason why is a big thing for him, understanding his reason why. So once I figure that out, I feel like we're on the same page.
When did that kind of click for you?
I'd probably say after Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico kind of helped us a lot. We played them 3 games quick, and it was kind of like without practice, so you kind of had to learn on the fly. So I feel like after Puerto Rico, we kind of came close and kind of understood each other a little bit more.
A number of people have mentioned that your ability as an on-ball defender could be very impactful for Indiana this year. I'm curious, in your eyes, as somebody who's out there doing it, what are the 3, 4, 5 things that really make somebody impactful on the ball? And, at what point in your career did you decide, hey, this is something I can be really good at?
I'd say I decided that at Troy probably 2 years ago. Once I kind of was getting a lot of steals and I was kind of getting noticed for playing defense, which kind of is getting away from this game. I feel like offense is kind of taking over. So it was kind of my way to get in, and being 6'3", there's a lot of people that can do what I do. So I have to separate myself a little bit. And I'd say the main thing is just taking pride in it. Like, it's one of them things you got to want to do. You can't just wake up and think it's going to be an easy day, because you got to predict what someone's going to do. So, I mean, just having a feel for the game and anticipating and just taking pride in it would be my biggest thing.
And how much does film study of the guy you're playing, how much does that play into that? Learning tendencies?
Definitely. I was just about to say, tendencies are a big thing, especially with basketball. I mean, they're still people. So people, whenever they get uncomfortable, they go back to their tendencies. They go back to doing what they know they're comfortable at. And if I can figure out what they're comfortable with, I can keep them from doing that.
Offensively, Coach said last week that you're kind of a 2 feet in the lane type of guy. How much pride do you take in that, trying to dish the ball out, or maybe even scoring inside the paint?
Just being able to get my teammates involved, get them in there, because my mom always told me if you get an assist, that's 2 stats. They get their points and I get my assists, so it's better for both of us. So kind of just trying to get my team involved, and I also know that if you can get people going on offense, it tends to make them play defense a little bit more. So thinking about the big picture.
Just looking at your schedule last year, you played Arkansas, Oregon, Kentucky. How do you feel like those games prepared you for high major, and kind of how did they instruct your training in your off season in terms of getting ready for what's coming up here?
Man, I went from playing like 3 high major games to having a whole conference full of them. So, I mean, just going through the mid-major and the JUCO, everybody always says, well, can you do it on the biggest stage? Can you do it on that next stage? And my teammates also have got that same thing from them. So I feel like just the brighter the lights, the bigger the stage kind of lets us prove our point that we can play with anybody and we can do anything that anybody else can do.
What Coach DeVries has talked about, playing with less defensive rules than normal. What's that been like for you? Has that been an adjustment, and what's that been like to adjust to?
We got a couple new things that I got to adjust to. Just, new programs playing different styles of defense. But we got our basic principles, which is kind of what he follows, and he lets you play a little bit. His big thing is if you're going to do something, though, just make sure it works. If it works, he ain't going to say too much about it. But you give up one of them dunks, man, you might get a little earful.
How much has Tucker kind of helped you guys? Obviously, he has a lot of experience in his dad's system to kind of, when there's moments where guys are struggling, to pick them up and kind of get you guys consistent, on the same page.
Just another coach on the floor. I mean, his offensive skill is crazy, and, just the way he can shoot is going to help us all year. But him knowing what Coach DeVries wants and him having that understanding kind of helps practices flow smoother. Our plays are always, if you don't know where to go, Tucker knows 1 through 5. He knows where everybody needs to be. So, I mean, it kind of just helps everything run smoother and nobody's lost out there.
Coach just talked about sort of like some of the motion principles in his offense, the idea that bodies are always moving, looking for space. But I imagine from a point guard's perspective, that means you've always got to be aware of guys are, because there aren't necessarily set spots on the floor. You're looking for bodies more than you are sort of positions on the floor. How do you sort of adjust and maybe almost kind of run an offense where the action around you is always kind of fluid and the guys aren't looking for a specific spot on the floor so much as they are space?
I think knowing our personnel has kind of helped us a lot. Knowing which bigs will roll, which bigs are like to go down there on the block, and which bigs are going to set that screen and pop. So just knowing your teammates' tendencies, going back to tendencies, knowing what they're going to do, knowing that we got people who set flare screens for people that are supposed to be shooters. We got some really good shooters. So understanding that they're probably going to be on the 3-point line most of the time and giving them a good pass with the laces, that always helps.
How competitive will you guys be against Baylor? I mean, obviously it's an exhibition, so it doesn't count, but yet it does count. How are you guys approaching that?
I think it's our first our first opportunity to kind of like play against somebody that is a little bit higher in the rankings, has a little bit more skill on their team. So, I mean, we're attacking this just like a normal game, Big Ten championship, man. We want to go in there, we want to play hard, we want to win, and we ain't gonna stop till that buzzer goes off.
In the Marion exhibition, we saw you and Connor really picking up, almost full court a lot of the time. That's something you guys kind of anticipate you'll do a lot this year. What does that do for your team?
Definitely, just feeding off each other. Like we know we're smaller guys. We know what our role is, and we know that if we can mess up that defense if we can mess up that offense before they cross half court, that they're going to struggle trying to put that ball in the net. So definitely, him and me being able to like kind of change out, so it keeps fresh legs out there, and that's going to be a trouble for a lot of these point guards.
Mike, and then we'll wrap up with Joe.
I asked Coach about your three-point shooting in Puerto Rico, and he said you put a ton of work into it, and he liked where you were in the summer. How much more confident are you right now than maybe you were last year?
Man, it's a whole different ball game now, man. I just feel like where I was at, it was kind of easier for me to get to the rim. Like I kind of knew what I could do, and there wasn't too many 7-footers down there in the Sun Belt. So now it's a little different, trying to turn to a floater game. And it wasn't the fact, coaches always told me, it wasn't the fact that I couldn't shoot. It was like I wasn't shooting a lot. So I'd shoot like 2 threes a game. You miss those 2 threes, that's 0%. But if I go out there and shoot 6 of them and I make 3 of them, then I'm good. But definitely just taking the time to get into the lab, work out with coaches. They're making sure I'm in there getting those extra shots up, and the work is proving itself.
I wanted to get your thoughts as an older guy, and we're going to story on Trent Sisley. You've seen a lot of guys come in as freshmen. What stands out about Trent?
Man, he's just a dog, dude. That dude is crazy, man. He can do, like, it's anything. It's nothing he can't do. I mean, he can dribble, he can shoot, he can pass. But the crazy thing is like we don't really draw up plays for him. Like, he just gets all of his stuff, like being in the right spot, playing the right way, getting the rebounds, doing all the dirty work that nobody else wants to do. He takes pride in being really good at that. So I mean, I got all the kudos in the world for Trent, man. He's gonna be a problem in a couple years.